What if I told you that $10,000 is only one belief away? While most people grind stress and chase money, I quietly applied Neville's method, and within just 14 days, $10,000 showed up in my life. Not luck, not coincidence, but the direct result of money manifestation. And before you think, this can't possibly be real, remember what Neville taught. Money never comes from outside of you. It's simply the expansion of your inner state of consciousness. The shocking truth. Most people never learned how to align their inner world to attract wealth. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to share exactly what I did step by step. But be careful. Skip even one step, and you could miss the $10,000 that already has your name on it. I used to believe what society taught: work harder, put in more hours, get a better job, save, and one day, you'll be wealthy. But if that formula really worked, why are so many smart, hardworking people still living paycheck to paycheck? Why do people working 12 hours a day barely cover their bills while others seem to have money flow to them effortlessly? That question haunted me. And when I stumbled upon Neville Goddard's philosophy, everything inside me shifted. Neville said, imagination creates reality. It sounds simple, but that single statement shattered my old beliefs. I wanted to know, could I actually turn thought into money? Was manifestation just a vague spiritual idea, or a real tool that could change my life? So I chose a specific number, $10,000. Large enough to test my belief, but clear enough that I would know when it appeared. I remember the first night. Lights off, body relaxed. Neville called it the state akin to sleep, that twilight zone where the subconscious easily accepts new images. In the dark, I imagined a bank balance much higher than usual. An email notification. Deposit $10,000. A text from the bank confirming new funds. At first, my mind resisted. A voice whispered, how could that ever happen? Where would the money come from? But I remembered Neville's words. You don't plant a seed and then dig it up the next morning to see if it's growing. You plant it. You trust it. You let it bloom. So I kept planting. Every night before sleep, I didn't beg. I didn't worry. I simply lived as if it had already happened. I felt the relief of seeing that balance, the joy of knowing $10,000 was mine. That feeling was the language my subconscious understood. By day 3, something shifted, not in my wallet, but inside me. Instead of tension, I felt peace. Instead of fear, I smiled. Neville always said feeling is the secret, and I realized why words don't create reality. Feelings do. On day 7, something strange happened. I received an unexpected payment from an old project I had nearly forgotten. It wasn't $10,000, but it was several thousand, enough to shock me. I laughed because I knew the seed was sprouting. Night after night I kept going, and then on day 14 it happened. A surprise contract came through, and with it exactly $10,000. When I saw it, I wasn't even shocked. I simply smiled because inside I had already had it 13 days earlier. Now I know some will say, that's just luck. But it wasn't luck. It was law. The law of money manifestation. I proved that wealth manifestation isn't vague theory. It's a repeatable technique, something anyone can test. Here's the most important truth. You don't have to chase money. You don't have to burn yourself out to earn it. When you are inwardly wealthy, the outer world has no choice but to reflect that. When you truly believe you are a money magnet, the universe arranges the opportunities, the doors, the channels for money to flow. Money doesn't come from jobs. It doesn't come from markets. It doesn't come from other people. It comes from your state of consciousness, from the belief you choose to embody every single day. After that first $10,000, I knew it wasn't a miracle. It was a law. Neville called it many things. The law of assumption. Feeling is the secret, living in the end. But for me, it all comes down to one truth. You become what you accept as real. People often ask me, so what's the real secret? Do I just imagine, and money shows up? And my answer is no. Just imagining isn't enough. You must let the feeling bridge the gap between the picture you create and the subconscious you're programming. Neville once said something timeless. It is not what you want that you attract. It is what you feel to be true. You don't attract what you want. You only attract what you truly feel is real. Think about it. How many times have you wanted money, love, or health. But deep inside, you were filled with fear, doubt, and lack. And what happened? Reality simply mirrored that inner feeling back to you. That's why I changed everything. I stopped begging. Please let me have $10,000. Instead, I asked myself, if I already had it, how would I feel? And then I lived in that feeling. Imagine this right now. If $10,000 was sitting in your account, how would you feel? Would you breathe easier? Would you smile more? Would you walk with your shoulders back and your heart at peace? Those exact feelings are the key that unlock the door of reality. Pillar 1. Assume it is done. Assumption is the simplest yet most powerful act of the mind. Instead of asking, when will the money come, I assumed it had already come. I assumed the bank email had already arrived. I assumed I already had the freedom I desired. And here's the strange part: when you assume long enough, your mind can't tell the difference between imagination and fact. It simply records the state and brings it into physical experience. Pillar 2. Feeling is the secret. You can picture a $10,000 check 1,000 times, but if deep down you're still thinking, I doubt this is real, your subconscious only hears the doubt. So I learned to breathe deeply, close my eyes, and sink into the feeling of abundance. I let that money bring me relief, confidence, joy even before it appeared. Sometimes I even smiled in the dark because in that moment, I was already wealthy. And that moment planted the seed in my subconscious. Pillar 3. Live in the end. One of Neville's deepest lessons: stop worrying about the how. You don't need to know how the money will show up. You don't need to chase it. You only need to live in the end, the state where you already have it. That's why when $10,000 arrived through an unexpected contract, I wasn't even surprised. Because in my mind, I had already been living with it. Pillar 4. You are God. This is the most controversial, but also the most liberating. Neville didn't mean you're a religious deity. He meant you are the creative source of your reality. If you keep believing you are poor and powerless, reality reflects that. But if you dare to accept, I am the author of this script, I can rewrite it, your life changes. When I embraced this, I stopped blaming the job, the economy, or my circumstances. I realized I don't need permission to be wealthy. I only need to give myself permission. And the best part: this law applies to everything. Love, career, health, joy. I've seen it heal broken relationships. I've seen it restore health. And I've seen it manifest $10,000 in just 14 days. This isn't abstract philosophy. This is a living practice. So the real question is, will you dare to try it? Look at your own life. How many times have you imagined something strongly, and then it happened? Maybe it was a surprise call from someone you were just thinking about. Maybe it was a job opportunity that appeared right after you wished for it. Or maybe it was money arriving the moment you needed it most. That wasn't random. That was the law of the subconscious at work. You've always been manifesting, you just weren't aware of it. So if the small things can happen, why not the big ones? If you can attract a text message, why not $10,000 in 14 days? I used to doubt it until I tested it. That night I sat down, closed my eyes, and rewrote the script of my life. I imagined touching my bank card, seeing the numbers rise. I heard the ding of a deposit notification. I saw myself smiling because I had become a money magnet. That night I fell asleep in peace. And when I woke up, I no longer asked, when will the money come? I simply lived as if it was already there. I bought a coffee without guilt. I walked the streets with new energy. I spoke with confidence. And just days later, the first opportunity appeared. An old friend reached out, offered me a small project. I said yes. And the money began to flow. On the 14th day, I opened my phone, checked my balance, and there it was, exactly $10,000. Not a dollar less. In that moment, I knew feeling is the secret. Live in the end. Assume it is done. These aren't just nice words. They are living techniques, money manifestation methods that anyone can apply. And if you're listening right now, maybe a part of you is craving a financial miracle too. Here's the truth: you don't need to beg the universe. You don't need to burn yourself out. You only need to turn inward. All it takes is one clear desire, not 100, just one. Maybe it's $1,000, maybe $10,000, maybe an unexpected windfall. And tonight, before you fall asleep, try this. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. See your account already holding that amount. Feel the relief, the joy, the abundance, as if it's already there. Whisper in your mind, I am the source of creation. I am the author of my story. Money flows to me like water. That's it. No complicated plan. Just plant the seed. But here's my warning. If you keep thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same doubts, you'll keep recreating the same reality. Nothing changes. But if tonight you choose to live from the state of already having it, you'll notice your reality begin to shift. Remember, manifestation isn't about waiting, it's about living before you see. Winners don't wait for the trophy to celebrate. The wealthy don't wait for the bank to confirm before they feel free. It all begins inside. Now imagine this, if thousands worldwide have used wealth affirmations to transform their lives. Why would you be the exception? If Napoleon Hill built Think and Grow Rich on nothing but belief. If Edison failed 10,000 times and still created light. If Carnegie, Lincoln, and Ford rose from nothing to build empires, then so can you. They weren't different from you. They just believed in what they couldn't yet see. So ask yourself, do I dare to believe in $10,000 in 14 days? If your answer is yes, then challenge yourself starting tonight. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't overthink it. Pick your number. Hold it in your mind. Feel it in your heart. Let it sink into your subconscious. The universe will handle the rest. The doors will open. The calls will come. The opportunities will appear. And one day soon you'll sit down, check your balance, and smile just like I did. Here's one affirmation I want to leave with you. Repeat it as soon as this video ends. I am a money magnet. I live in abundance. Money flows to me naturally, easily, and quickly. I already have $10,000. I am wealthy. I am free. Say it every day and watch the miracle unfold. Before you go, let me ask, what do you want to manifest in the next 14 days? Comment below. Because the moment you write it, you've already planted the first seed. And if you want to go deeper into this art, watch the playlist, Neville Goddard Manifestation Mastery. Complete guide and daily Neville Goddard affirmations and meditations right after this video. Don't miss it, because every step will lead you toward the abundant, prosperous life you deserve. Because you don't have to wait for the world to change to be happy. Change within, and the world will follow.